Hey everybody, this is Tina.
And this is Erika.
And we are A92A. A92A stands for ages 9 to adult. That's how long we've been on this journey together as friends.
92 is also our high school graduation year.
And ages 9 to adult is a nod to the board game Life, which we rockified as kids in order to live out our rock and roll fantasies. Thanks for tuning in. We have a very, very special episode today because we've got some guests and they are some of the coolest folks around. Today we are talking to the original premier 80s tribute band from Southern California. We have Fast Times here with us.
Yay! I'm so excited about this. You guys are like the most fun band that one could ever imagine. I'm so excited you're here today.
It is. It's really fun. And with us today is Johnny Ventura, who is a lead singer of the band. His persona is Jeff Spicoli.
That's right.
Of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He knows that dude. We also have Eddie Ayala, who is Nikki Sixx on bass.
Yes.
And we have also the band's manager, Michael Fields, with us today. And shout out to Diego and Kyle for not joining us today, but so we'll talk about them, I guess.
Old.
They're here in spirit.
There's some changes there.
Yeah. I don't.
But we can still say hello to Diego.
We can still
love
say
those
Yeah,
guys.
we love
Yes.
those guys.
Okay.
They've moved.
Sorry.
They moved.
They moved.
away, yeah.
Or we have.
Oh.
Yeah.
They have or we have.
Well,
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just saying hi to people that I guess aren't.
That's okay.
Are
everyone's
involved.
going to
Aren't even
Vegas
relevant.
these days, so
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's where
it's been a
Kyle is.
while. Yeah.
Kyle's in Vegas now.
So you guys have been around for a really long time, like 15, 20 years at this point, or how long has it
It's
been?
been about 15 years with this current lineup. I mean, we
Okay.
just replaced the drummer,
Okay.
so he's only been in the band for a few months.
Like 10
Because-
minutes.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
Matt.
about 10. What days of the week?
He's from Hollywood Undead, if you've ever heard of it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we know the Hollywood Undead.
So that
Yep.
we have Matt from Hollywood Undead.
Oh, cool.
Amazing.
He's great. He's super fun to watch, and
So
we have Lance
in the right
on
direction.
guitar now
Okay, cool.
from the Atomic Punks.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
See, all-star lineup. Johnny, was this your brainchild? Was this your brainchild?
yeah,
How did
pretty
this
much.
come about?
This is probably like the 400th lineup that we've gone through in the last 15 years. Because obviously, in this business, in any band, you're together for 15 years. You're gonna change members just
Sure.
because people get married, people move away, people are in different bands. They go into a different band, and it's just how it works. So.
But has the band's persona always sort of been the same with the same four characters?
The first 10 years, we actually had a few different members that are around. Like we had the Devo guy was a drummer, and then we had like a Prince guy at one time, and then we just switched things around. And it just once we got Eddie, he was the perfect Nikki Sixx guy. So then we
Yeah.
switched him, and then we switched our bass player to being, he was going to be the Nikki Sixx guy because Nikki plays
Because
bass.
of course.
And
Well, you
then-
had one prior to me. You
Yeah.
had a Nikki prior to
Right,
me.
right. And then that's when we switched over to the drummer being the Devo character, which has made way more sense.
Now, how did you pick Spicoli as your character?
I just kind of look like him, and
Kind of. He does a lot.
Yeah,
people
a
just
lot.
loved it. Like
And he
it
lives
just-
in the valley.
yeah.
So,
And people just people have seen the movie, like they get it. But half the
Oh,
time
yeah.
when they come in, like because we get a lot of tourists at the Whiskey,
Mhm.
so we play there every Monday, and some people come in and they're like, "Why you have the white stuff on your nose?" I go,
Yeah.
"What? Like, are you a beach guy?" Like, we got to watch the movie Spicoli.
Yeah. Time marches on.
Yeah,
I'll
it's like,
stand.
you'll get it.
I'll
You
stand
see Fast
outside.
Times, yeah.
Yeah, I'll stand outside the Whiskey prior to meet and greet people as Nikki Sixx, right? Got the stripes and the hat and
Oh,
everything.
amazing.
And people will walk by and go, "Look, it's Slash." And it's really disheartening sometimes. Time is marching on.
Yeah,
people
we all
just
know
don't get
that
it,
for
yeah.
sure. But I love the fact that you guys are talking about some of the people that come to your shows, because do you feel like there's one sort of a demographic that you see frequently? Because I think the first guess would be that it's kind of like people my age and Tina's age, like
Yeah.
mid to late 40s, 50 plus year olds. But I have a feeling that's not entirely correct. Do you guys see a lot of younger kind of audiences every now and then, or is it mostly like the same crowd every
It's a
time?
very big mix. Like
Yeah.
we're
That's
all over
kind of
the
what I
map
thought.
because we'll have 20-year-olds going crazy, and they actually definitely go crazier. Like, and then the older you get, the more subdued they are. They're dancing around, going crazy, but like the young kids are raring to jump on stage and
Yeah.
Wow.
let loose a little crazier. But Yeah.
We talk about
It's
that
a
a lot,
big
and I
mix.
feel like a lot of the 80s music is definitely making a resurgence and is going to continue to make a resurgence because I think people love the musicality of it. There's a lot of music that's out there right now that we talk about this all the time, Tina and I do, that there aren't even instruments. And so I think people do love the idea of going back to that decade where it was heavy instrumentality and people were playing live shows, and sometimes the live shows you see now are very different than what you might have seen back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a testament to how great that music was because again, you're right. You know, a lot of our regulars, a lot of the crowd are that 40s and 50s, but there's so many different demographics, so many younger people that are coming because the music has so much heart and so much passion in it. You know, it's very easy to love this music. So so it's definitely a testament to how great that decade was.
And
then
everybody knows the
music
songs,
was,
and they're
yeah.
on
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
TV show and every movie, and you know, it's just
Yeah, and they have the characters. You get people that say, "Well, I never got to see the real band back in the day."
Right.
Right.
And now they get to see us. And really what's different about Fast Times is, you can see a lot of 80s bands that dress up.
yeah, and they're all
But-
good.
But
There's
they don't
tons of great
necessarily
bands.
sell it to the audience. So
Right.
when they see Spicoli, he's walked right out of the movie. Our Slash guy, it's like, oh my God, he moves and looks just like Slash. And I
Right.
do the Nikki Sixx thing, as opposed to just doing Nikki Sixx and doing this and looking the top over people's heads. No, you sell it to the audience. We're very
Right.
That's cool.
personable. So people get the wow, I feel like I got to see Nikki Sixx. But we
Yeah.
always kind of guard that. It's like, we never at any point think we are these guys.
Sure.
It's an acting job, put to music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're
It's
just really
a concert.
we're appreciative for the people that come out. And that's when we talk
Yes.
to them, it's like, it's so easy for you to stay home and watch TV, yet here you are. And
Yeah.
that's really cool.
You know,
Yeah.
it is a concert, like Johnny said, but moreover, there's a lot of crowd interaction. These guys are out in the crowd and they're interacting. Eddie is running around the Whiskey with his bass, and
Or on
people
Sunset
are-
Boulevard, right?
or on Sunset Boulevard, right there.
Hitchhiking
You go-
during a song.
People are
Oh,
at the
that's right.
table.
Hey,
Nobody's
nobody
picking-
picks you up?
Well, he's
No.
got a wireless, so it's cool.
That's right.
And nobody
so
picks me
it's
up.
very crowd
weird.
interactive. People like Johnny talked about, people want to get on stage and dance and interact with us. So it's a different level to just the general show that you go,
Yeah.
where there's that definitely divider. There's a crowd and they're sitting and watching the show and the show's over and they're gone. But there's a ton of crowd interaction. These guys are out after the show, shaking hands and kissing babies and really making connections, because
Yeah.
that's what it's about. People want to connect, and these guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
fantastic.
Yes,
at
but it's not
connecting.
schmoozing. It's more out of appreciation.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And we let them know that.
Do your audiences dress up too? You see a
Yeah.
lot of crazy stuff?
Yep.
Yep.
I would
a lot
say
of 80s.
at least every show is at least 25% they're dressed in the 80s garb.
That's super cool.
Yeah, at least. And most,
Yeah.
sometimes we do parties where it's completely 80s themed.
Right.
We get hired for some of these parties, but
Mm.
it's super fun. Like, people are always willing to go a little crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like your shows, and I am so excited to go see one finally in August when I'm out in LA, but I feel like your shows really are an experience. They're not just, I go to a concert, I watch what's on stage, I leave. It's
Yeah.
really more of an entire experiential sort of process where you're interacting with the band. There's this great music on stage, and you guys are really like creating memories for people when they show up to your shows.
Yeah, we're an absolute concert. Like, we're not a cover band or
Yeah.
a tribute band in
Mhm.
any way. Like there's a million great 80s cover bands in LA, just in LA, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
are a concert. Like, if you see any band and then you see us, there's a big difference in that. We all play. I would say we play about 50% of all the songs that everyone plays, like, Tainted Love and Sweet Child. Like, everyone does those songs, but we're the concert like that you're just not going to get from any other band.
We'll deliver those songs.
Yeah.
Obviously you guys are doing something right, because you've got every Monday night residency at the Whiskey. I mean, can you get any more iconic in terms of venues?
No.
So that's no small feat to be able to have a residency at the Whiskey. And people obviously associate that venue with the 80s Sunset Strip. And so it obviously makes so much sense that you guys would establish a residency there. What's it like for you guys to play at the Whiskey, by the way, where so many amazing bands got their start?
It's great. The funny thing about the Whiskey is it's the only venue we've played ever that we'll get there at 5 o'clock for sound check, and there's people outside wanting just to come, not for the show. They're just wanting to come in and take pictures of
Yeah.
Of the
the
whiskey.
venue.
Yeah.
Just sneak in for hey, they're all tourists, obviously, but
Yeah.
they've never been there. They just want to walk through. Like, what other venue do you play that ever happens? Like,
Yeah.
never.
Right.
Like, it's just that venue. Like, I just want to walk in and take a few pictures, and then we tell them about the show, and then they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we're like, yeah,
Amazing.
come in, check it out.
That's awesome.
It's funny watching the tour buses go by, the Hollywood tour buses, and then like we unloading gear and all the cameras start coming out. You know, they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We're not in
Who's that?
character, but they feel like they got to be somebody.
They gotta be somebody. They're the whiskey.
Love
So
it.
that's kind of cool. But you know that whole dynamic of us doing covers but doing a concert's our greatest gray area. It's our greatest deficit, really,
Right.
because people don't understand it. But it's our greatest asset once people figure it out.
Yeah.
Because we're not a cover band, but we're not a tribute band. We're
Right.
kind of stuck in the
Yeah.
middle. And
Mhm.
really, what we're kind of waiting on is somebody to figure out how to market that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I think we'll be in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, I was
That's the
going to ask you
prediction.
that because you guys play a ton of gigs in Southern California, obviously. Do you play much outside of that region? And if no, is that something you'd like to do? I mean, I book shows in Omaha. Do you guys want to come to Omaha?
Sure.
Sure.
Well, we've done shows everywhere. Not
Okay.
as much. I mean, we've gone to New York. We've gone to Arizona.
I saw some of that. So like on
Colorado.
the East
Yeah,
Coast, Boston. Yeah,
Colorado.
some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But
It was supposed to be Florida recently, and something happened there.
Yeah.
Permits. They didn't get permits.
yeah, for the party itself. But,
Mm.
yeah, that was gonna be a good one.
Yeah, but my saying is that you could, if we've had the right management focus, because it's hard to figure this out. You could take a map of the United States and just throw darts at it and find the nearest Indian casino, and you'd be able to book us.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and with a couple weeks of promo prior to any show, people would figure out, oh, okay, I got to go see this.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
it's definitely different. Like we just did the House of Blues on Saturday, and people were coming up to us after the show, like because we always try and sort of hang out now that the COVID thing is sort of over and a little bit
Yeah.
more relaxed, so we can actually kind of talk to people. But everyone comes up to me and says, "I had no idea what this was gonna be. Like I'm
If I had a
blown
dollar.
away. Like because it's a full on concert. Like we have our own lights, we have our LED screens that we built ourselves that no one does. Like we're putting a concert into at our level, House of Blues ish, whiskey
Mhm.
that no other band at our level is gonna do or
Right.
can do
Or
because
can, yeah.
because
Well, even beyond the fans at the industry level, let's take we just played NASCAR out here on the West Coast, and of course we go up and do our sound check. These guys they deal with national acts all the time.
yeah, and we're dressed like
We're just
normal.
and then
they're just-
afterwards they
Yeah.
come up and it's like, we had no idea. That was insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, tell your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's a sleeper because it's really
Yeah.
hard to describe it going in. Even when you watch the videos, you still don't get it because you can't get the interaction.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't capture that.
Yeah.
So
And that's the double-edged sword of like trying to break into new markets because we're doing great in LA because the name gets around and people know who we are, and so we can start playing these places. But if you reach out to someone else, we're like, "Well, you're a cover band." Like,
no,
well, you don't get it. Like we're giving you the package, and you kind of see it, and you can see where we're playing. And they're like, "Okay, we'll take a chance." And then it's like, "Well, it's got to work both ways, It's like we can't just go there and."
I know
Right.
it defaults
Just-
to that. I don't know if
yeah.
you've seen the ad for Arrowhead. We're listed as a cover band.
Yeah,
It's like,
which is actually sold out. I just heard.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh.
it's good.
So
Okay,
I guess
well,
it's not
sweet.
hurting
Not
us
mad
so
at that,
bad.
but
Yeah.
It's
you
not
know?
hurting.
do you guys do this full time or do you have other things
Yes.
going on?
Yes. this is
I do this full time, and I have a restaurant too. That's kind of like an investment thing, but yeah,
Wow.
everybody has.
Amazing.
and I do a couple other tributes, but this is the focus.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's what actually got me on their radar, as I got into the tribute scene in 2015, which is rather late.
Right.
Playing guitar in a Rat tribute. You guys remember Rat?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
we
We know
remember
Rat.
that? Oh,
Yeah,
we know
right.
that well.
I'm really like a career guitar player, but somebody needed bass in a docking band. I did that. Then these guys, the band called Van Halen, you may have heard of
Uh-huh.
them. They have a Motley band called Motley Crue.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, we heard you'll play bass. Could you put together a Nicky Six? Yeah. So I put together a Nicky Six. Then when they needed a Nicky Six, it came right to me.
It's great.
And I'm grateful that everything, you never know where things are going to go.
No.
Sure.
It's that Leonard Nimoy thing, right? Not to be too much of a geek, but don't turn down any gigs.
Yeah.
Because you never
Yeah.
know where it might lead. Open doors.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
You know, now we're got the association with Michael, and Michael's taken us to the whiskey, and who knows, you know, where it can go beyond that. You know, that's iconic.
So
Yeah,
iconic.
absolutely.
We've had residencies at the Canyon clubs, like
Mhm.
Agura and Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
You know, and I try to think of other bands that have residencies elsewhere, and I really
That's the thing. I mean,
can't.
that's what you guys are doing that's so different. And obviously, like I said, you're doing something right because that's not necessarily easy to pull off to have a residency at the whiskey. So that's amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
what makes it a little simpler, I think, is a straight tribute, like a Queen tribute. Queen Nation, they're awesome, but they can't play in the same zip code 3 weeks in a row because people are like, well, seen it.
Right.
It's all the
Mhm.
same band. We play such a diverse amount of music, you know, from Depeche Mode to Metallica. Everybody's gonna go away happy.
Do you guys play a different set list every time?
Yeah.
Or you mix it up a lot?
Yes, we
That's
have
great.
to because
Yeah, you don't want to saturate the market. Everybody's like,
Right.
I've heard this show before. I've seen it.
It's a little
Yep.
labor
Yeah.
intensive for him
it's
now
a lot
Yeah.
of work, but
because he's got to create a light show that goes with the
Oh,
song.
right.
Because the light
Ugh.
show actually interacts with every song that we play.
Wow.
yeah, so we built
Uniquely.
a whole stage set with light show and LED screens that go along with the music, and we built all that, and that's what really separates us from all the other bands. just
He's
because-
humble. He built all
Mm.
that.
Well, it's,
I help maintain it now.
It's amazing.
it was a lot of work. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. And I don't see a lot of bands doing that. And I mean, I came from the school of I worked for JBL for 20 years
Okay.
in engineering, and then I went to Samsung for 5 years. And working for someone else for that many years, when you're doing this, I'm totally fine spending an extra hour setting stuff up and working for myself and building this than
Mm.
spending 8 hours or 10 hours a day working for another big corporation or
Yeah.
a small corporation or whatever you want to call it. It's
Well, I
just-
find that a lot with musicians too. You guys really do have kind of entrepreneurial types of mindsets where you're really creative and you want to try new things
Right.
and you're interested in trying to see what you can build and how big you can build it. So that's not surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're thinking. And a lot of, I mean, the problem with what we do again is like all the stuff that we actually have to set up. A lot of guys, you would think an extra half hour of setting up, bringing stuff wouldn't be a big deal, but a lot of musicians are pretty lazy. I got to tell you,
Oh,
like,
they
they don't
go-
want it. They just want to show up and play
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
paid and
Plug
leave.
in
Like,
and
Go
play. Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing at all.
But some are unaware. I have
Yeah.
this analogy of an apartment building, and you work your way up to the fourth floor. You know, you get past all these stages, and you get to the fourth floor, and you look at all the poor sap still at street level, going, "Man, why can't you see what needs to be done?"
Right.
Okay, with us, we realize it's a 10-story building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and there's a lot of great musicians and bands on the fourth floor, but they don't have the drive to want to do the extra.
Yeah.
Mm.
And some of them aren't even aware. They think it doesn't matter. Well, we played House of Blues this last weekend, and one of the guys in the opener band was kind of making fun of my boots because I was partially, getting ready. So, oh man, those are some boots, and then their bass player's like laughing, and I'm like, give it a couple hours,
Yeah.
and you're gonna understand. And then
Yeah.
they stood in the wings and they had a good time.
So great.
Yeah.
But they just see it as, wow, that's a lot of overkill, and it's like, no, it's
No.
not. No,
Mm-mm.
it's
It isn't
appropriate.
because we got to entertain the people that paid to come see us or just come to see us. Like
Well, yeah.
they got.
But I'm sure there were times that Kiss was like, God, do I
Yeah.
really have to spend all this time putting this makeup on?
Right.
Actually, I
is
don't
not
think
a
so.
joke.
I don't think so because Gene always said, like in the '90s, is like I really have issues with bands where you can't tell the difference between them and the road crew.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be larger than life. Kiss
Yeah.
has always had that mantra of like, do the extra work.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm,
be
exactly.
at this higher level where nobody else wants to.
And that's
go.
why they're my favorite band, and that's why I do what I do.
Well, and as an audience member, I feel like, God, they took time. Like I feel special. Like they're working hard for me. Like this is worth it to me. I love it. I love that extra effort. Like I don't want to see you come up on stage, just plug in some stuff and start.
Right.
Like I want to feel like I'm part of the experience. You're speaking to me.
The funny thing is like most musicians that come see us play, they're like, how long does it take you guys to set that stuff up? And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care like how long if it takes an extra half hour, an hour, it's worth it for the show. As long as there's people there to enjoy it. Like I don't understand people not putting that extra effort
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you only get what you put in. in
Yeah,
anything you do.
absolutely.
And I mean, unless you're lucky and you're rich and you already have connections, maybe you get to skip the line. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
in
us.
any other job, in any other place, you got to work to get to that next level. If you don't, you're gonna be working for the supervisor or your boss. Like
Yep.
you're not gonna be
Yeah.
the boss.
You're gonna be passed
know,
over. Yeah.
You're gonna be passed over if you
Absolutely.
just cruise through. If you're gonna cruise through, guess what? You're gonna be opening up for fast times
But you know,
for us.
there's the poison aspect, I call it as well. If you remember Poison back in the 80s, people are like, yeah, without the hair and the makeup, they're nothing. Okay, and I'm sure when some people see pictures of us, they get that same aspect. And then when they come and see us, it's like, oh my God, the background harmonies are spot on.
Mm.
And then Johnny and Lance will do a split thing of Eruption and nail it. And it's like, uh-oh, these guys are actually serious musicians.
Real deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're
It's like the
preaching to the
Poison
choir
thing.
here.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir because, like Tina and I, very specifically, when we started this podcast, we never say hairband. We don't
Right.
ever use that phrase, and I think it's because it really demeans the musicality and the talent that these guys had. And I think that happens a lot with 80s metal in particular, where people just look at the hair and the makeup and say that's all it was. But these guys were all very talented musicians.
But it's nice to put the cherry on top. You know, at
Yeah.
Oh,
NAS-
yeah, you
at-
got to have it.
Little
It's
flair.
part of the vibe,
Yeah.
you know.
at NASCAR, we went and watched some of the race, and then we had another gig that same evening. So we
Right.
played there midday and then had to leave. And as I was leaving, one of the security guys like, hey, can I get a picture with you? And he was over by the track. And I'm like, sure. And he's doing a selfie. And he's like, man, I love your music. I've been listening to it for years. He thought I was Nikki Sixx.
Oh, bless.
And I didn't have the heart to tell him otherwise. But
You
then
weren't.
I felt bad afterwards because his friends are going to see the
He's
picture and they're going to
posting,
go,
yeah.
bro, that's not Nikki
That's not
Sixx.
Nikki.
That's
What an
not
idiot.
Nikki
Was that the
Sixx.
NASCAR event? Was Ricky Rackman down there? Was that at the Coliseum?
No,
recently?
this was
Or
Mass
Montana.
Oh, that was.
Montana.
Oh, you actually. Yeah. Okay.
The super speedway place.
Oh, gotcha.
So we run into that.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, that's a long explanation to try to tell them how you're not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You're like, well, it's like this, but not that.
People tell me, oh, well, you think you're Nikki Sixx? I'm like, no, I'm more like 5.8. You know, not quite
Nikki
there.
Fair enough.
5.8.
Yeah. We do the
Nikki
best we can.
5.8.
Yeah.
What are your
That's
favorite songs
hilarious.
to perform?
I just like to perform whatever the crowd is into. Like,
Okay.
I mean, there's a few songs I get sick of doing, but I don't get sick of it when the crowd's going crazy. It's
Yeah,
like,
you'll
it's
never
like
notice it.
Mm.
yeah, it's like going to see if asking Paul Stanley, are you sick of doing rock and roll all night? No,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Because it works.
Yeah.
are you sick of doing Detroit Rock City? No, like if the crowd's getting into it, why wouldn't I want to do that song?
Right. You really thrive off of that.
Yeah,
And you guys obviously play a wide variety of 80s music from pop to rock, but what songs that we talk about in this podcast, which would be a lot of the 80s metal stuff, what do you really like to perform? What are some of your favorites?
I like Shadow the Devil.
Do you?
That's like
Oh.
one of my favorite ones to
Yeah.
play.
For me, dressed as Nikki Sixx, all I got to
Yeah.
do is stand up on one of the boxes and they lose their minds,
Lucy?
you know, and do this, you know, because it goes with it.
That is precisely what Eric and I would both do.
But you know, I play Nikki Sixx in a Motley tribute. For me, it's Primal Scream. Johnny thinks that's one of the
Gotcha.
worst songs ever.
Oh, I love
Not the worst songs ever. Just
No, for
one
Motley,
of, for
for
Motley.
Motley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like.
And actually, Shout is one of my least favorite. So
Interesting.
I like
Huh.
Wild Side better. You know?
I like Wild Side too.
That's my favorite Motley Crue song, Wild Side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we got a thing.
Yeah,
We got a
that's
thing.
That's
good.
right. That's right.
So funny.
But you know, you got to be able to straddle a line here because we'll do something like "Take on Me" by
Mm-hmm.
How the hell do you pervade, Nikki Sixx doing that? Because you
Yeah.
can't be playing like you're in the Archies.
Right.
That'll look dumb, but you can't be flipping everybody off either.
Right.
So it takes.
So
a
what do you
little-
do?
So
What do you
it's-
do?
You walk the fence and you balance it, and you
Huh.
just emote the music is what I found is the best way to do it. You know,
Yeah.
when you got a crescendo, you give it. When you got something that lays back, you lay back.
Right.
Stay in character as much as you can. You
Mhm.
know, but we take a little bit of latitude because that's not a straight tribute. You know.
Right.
Now, have any of you met your personas in real life? Or have they come to see you play? Has Nikki ever seen you perform?
He's seen us somewhere because he gave us a stamp of approval, but I've never seen him at a show, and I've never met him.
Cool.
Yeah.
My wife grew up with Mick Mars's son. They went to the same school, kind of platonic boyfriend,
Okay.
girlfriend. So I've met
Oh,
Mick,
wow.
but not Nikki, not Tommy.
Cool.
So
I've never met.
Amazing.
You've never met
Never-
Scully?
But we've had a few of the guys in the movie come see us
Oh,
a bunch
cool.
of times. Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Oh, didn't Damone
Yeah.
come? Yeah. I got some cheap trick tickets here.
Yeah. He was my favorite character in the movie, actually.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, what's it like to manage these guys? I mean, what's a day-to-day like for you?
Well, it is when I met these guys very early on, more than anything, I kind of became a champion of the show. Like this music is, like all of us, what I grew up with. And so it was very easy for me to buy in just for the music. And then all the things that they just talked about, these guys are all excellent musicians. The show, the work that Johnny puts into the lights and the lasers and everything really in sync with the music. It's just a super fun show to be a part of. So I look forward to any opportunity that I have to help, these guys do shows because I'm seeing it as a fan, so I'm able to help them put all the work in and help them get everything ready for the show. But then I'm able to sit back and not just, watch the show and really enjoy what's going on. But for me, it's looking around the crowd. There's moments throughout every show where the energy is just off the charts and you're able to kind of stand back and look at the faces of the crowd and look at their energy and look at how they're into the song and everybody's singing along. That to me is the payoff, right? That's why it's worth all of the work. And that's what Johnny talked about, all that extra time that these guys put into the show before the show. It all pays off when you look out and you see the crowd and you see, how everybody is just spent because the energy is off the charts, and they saw something that they've never seen before and they can't wait to come back and they can't wait to tell their friends about it. So for me, it's great because again, I get to do this as a fan of the music. Obviously I've gotten to know the guys and they're all, amazing human beings on top of the musicality. So it's not even work sometimes. It's just a ton of fun to be a part of this show.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you guys all do, by the way, during COVID when everything was shut down?
That's when I built all the stage sets.
Really?
That's when
I
all
was
the
out
way
for
out.
a year and a half. I'm like, how am I going to make this band bigger than it actually is right now and keep us ahead of everybody? I'm like, I'm going to build this. I just had these ideas and then I had to engineer it and figure out how I'm going to do it and make programs work with each other. So it was a good 3 months of planning and then a couple months of actually just putting it together and then a couple months of programming. So it was a lot of work, but it looks cool.
Use your time wisely.
I mean, what else are you going to do? Like there was nothing, like we had no shows because everything was closed down. We did one casino gig on Halloween and for that whole year. And then we didn't come back until
May. We were the first ones out of the gate.
Yeah.
But it was tough because no one, like if you think about it, no one still wanted to come out. And then the people that did want to come out didn't want to go in because they were having all these restrictions. So you have people that don't want to go in that are able to go in. And then you got the people that can't really go in, wanting to go in. And then they don't want to go in because they're being told not to wear masks or vaccines or whatever. Right. So you're really limited to like 20-25% of the population out there that were actually willing to come in or want to come in with the restrictions. So it was really tough.
We're still
we're still there. We're still there.
My daughter went to the House of Blues show and she said so many people got turned away.
Really?
Due to
vaccine requirement or
vaccine requirements and even something as innocuous as purses. They won't allow purses in.
That's a fairly new phenomenon.
Yeah.
Too.
Like that purse right there that you have.
No, you have to have
you couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird.
And if you don't read that fine print, like on your ticket or on the site,
and we didn't
you
know
show
that.
up, you're like, what the fuck? I gotta ditch my purse somewhere. Like, I don't.
Well, and every venue is different. Every single venue is different, and so it's not like there's any sort of consistency with any of it. So every
and
venue,
that would be
you
better
have to like
if there
look
was
at the rules.
consistency.
Oh
That's the problem with it. Like if everything was, everyone stayed on the same page, you wouldn't have people going up and down saying, "Well,
Confused.
this is stupid. This is dumb." It's like, if everyone was on the same, or not on the same page, but if they just kept, the lingo going the same, and then actually stayed on that same page until the end, you wouldn't have people that revolting against this and that because it would be understood. You can't
just
change
standard.
Change everything every 5 minutes and then back and forth and this. It's like everyone wants to be safe. No one wants to get sick, of course, but you can't change the narrative every 5 minutes.
And even in Southern California, where we've got neighboring counties that are doing different things. Orange County is different from LA. LA County's been pretty restrictive, actually, up until just recently. And then Ventura County has its own set of standards as well. So
Yeah, I think tonight's our first night at the Whiskey where there's no vaccine proof.
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Tonight is
Wow.
Tonight.
so
So they got rid of their vaccine requirements. That's interesting.
Well, they're giving businesses the option to decide for themselves. So
Yeah.
I guess the whiskey is like
But last week it was not an option.
right.
You still had to do vaccine proof, and then masks to walk in, and then everyone takes them off as usual. But
See, and that's the problem, right? Is the consistency.
Right.
yeah,
When you walk into a place where they're like, you have to wear a mask, and the guy telling you that is wearing it below his nose
Right.
Yeah.
what's the
It's just
point?
it doesn't make a whole
while
lot
he's
of sense.
coughing on you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Or why you're not safe walking through a doorway, but are suddenly safe when you're at your table. Or
Yeah.
none of
Or
us-
you could go to a restaurant and eat, but then you can't go to a club.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
Yeah, I
it's just.
But just your average
been
person
crazy.
feels that. You see somebody drive by in their car wearing a mask, and they're like, you're going to catch COVID from your empty passenger seat.
Right.
Well,
So-
it's just a very difficult thing across the,
Yeah.
because nobody knows what's going on. Luckily, though, again, tonight being the first
Finally
night
getting
back,
better.
luckily the energy is getting different. And like you
Yeah.
talked about, LA County was the most strict of everybody. So the fact that we're starting to, relinquish that a little bit and getting a little softer on everything, the energy is different. I mean, you really
Right.
just talking to people in the crowd, you can tell people are more comfortable coming out and people are more comfortable being in crowds. So, that is going to help. And, that kind of coinciding with the fact that the weather's getting better, maybe not for you.
It is. It's
over
getting
there,
better.
Erika, but,
Is it 50?
Yeah.
It is 50.
Whoa!
Yeah.
The weather here starting to get into spring and,
Yeah.
and all of that, it's gonna, kind of help itself get
Mhm.
better and start making people feel a little more.
Yeah, hopefully don't
comfortable
go
about coming out.
backward again.
Right. It should
Yeah.
bring,
I hope not.
Yeah.
should bring everybody out because we're,
Yeah.
before the shutdown, Michael was pretty good at bringing some celebrities out. So we've jammed with Tiffany, Nuno Betancourt, Leif Garrett,
Oh,
Bobby
please.
Blotzer,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
he's got some ideas for some guys coming up or some, because we're a great opportunity for what you might call legitimate acts to
Yeah.
do some promo.
For sure.
Oh,
know.
absolutely.
And the comparisons, obviously, with us and Steel Panther have always been there of trying to having something established and on the Sunset Strip on Mondays, having celebrities come up,
Yeah.
and get their day in the sun.
For
you
sure.
know. We are a little bit more PG, I would say, than Steel
Oh,
Panther.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
Steel Panther many times. There is nothing PG about that particular
Not
show.
Yeah.
at
So
all.
Right.
No. But the comparisons are there.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've talked about, John and I have talked about doing our own material as well. It'll sound just like everything else that we're playing, new wave-ish to heavy stuff, and we'd be able to start doing that.
But original. Yeah.
Incredible.
I was actually going to ask about that. I was curious. That
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the plan. We're,
We've got the covers available already on Spotify. We've done like 3 tracks.
Yeah.
And we have a video on YouTube for Rebel Yell, which is fun.
I saw that.
You
Yeah,
could
that's
see me-
amazing.
you could see me hitchhiking down the set.
So cool.
and skating down Sunset as
Yeah. Yeah, trying not to get run over.
I feel like this is a really good time for you guys. Like you said, like it's starting to get warmer here in LA. This is always a really exciting time in Los Angeles
Yeah.
with summers coming and hospitalizations are really low in LA County. So we've relaxed a lot of these restrictions and you guys sound like you're really set up to do some really cool stuff. I might end up being a regular. I don't know. What does
well.
it
We
mean?
got
Yeah.
your table
Fast
whenever you
time.
want.
Yeah.
Actually, I got an early bedtime usually, but I might have to make an exception for Monday nights at the
Well,
Whiskey.
Mondays we're actually done by 11:30. So
Okay,
we
you
go
don't.
on
My
at 10.
bedtime is like 9:30, so
Oh,
it's
that
you
is a
know,
little early.
You know what I say in the microphone sometimes is, it's worth being a little tired on Tuesday.
yeah,
That's right.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
that's fair.
I mean, I wish I lived there. I would come all the time. I
You
mean, I
guys
feel like this is a greatest
I've
show.
got to see it. You guys would have a blast. Like, it's a super fun night.
It's happy.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
happy.
Tina might be there before me,
Yeah.
but I will for
I
sure be there in
will, for
August.
sure. Yeah.
I will be there in August. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited to see it. But that's kind of what this whole interview is all about, because I think it's a great time to mention that we're doing this super awesome giveaway with you guys. I mean, we're actually going to be able to give some tickets away to the Fast Time show at the Whiskey in LA. So that's kind of our listener call out for this week is if you want to see Fast Times live at the Whisky for an upcoming Monday night show, this is your chance. We're going to do a comment to win giveaway all week on our Instagram account, A92A_life. So we'll run the promotion for a week. We'll announce the winner on 3/30, March 30th. And if you don't live in California, it's totally fine because we've been told that we got some additional swag and some merch from Fast Times that we can give out as well. So definitely watch our social media platforms. We'll be promoting this all week. And I'm so excited to see the show myself in August. I think it's going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be cool. Do you guys want to talk about where people can find you online, your socials, all that?
Sure. If you go to fasttimesband.com, it has all of our links.
All the links.
YouTube,
Great.
Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. You just
click right there.
click
click.
the button.
Love it. I love it.
If you've been on the
And
internet, you know how to do that.
I'm gonna get you guys to Omaha one of these days.
We'll
One of
go.
these days you're coming to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'll fly out for that.
Love it.
The
Absolutely.
light show aspect would be a problem
Yeah.
with travel.
Oh,
But we,
Yeah.
but we
it
can,
could be a van trip.
No, we'll figure it. We'll figure it out.
but we can. We've had a couple gigs where they, due to wind or such, we couldn't
yeah.
use those panels.
Oh,
And
sure.
while it takes some of the icing off the cake, we still have the cake. So
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know.
And the
What
cake,
a-
and the cake
what
is
a
tasty.
Great cake it is.
Cake's amazing.
That's
Tasty
right.
cake.
That's right.
It's good still. We still got the 80s, so it's like,
Right.
we're still going to do For Whom the Bell Tolls, so
Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
people will have fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I feel like, Tina, we could sit here and talk to these guys all
I
day, but
know.
they probably have other things to do. I mean, you guys, we're recording this on a Monday. You guys have
Yeah,
a
we're
show
actually
tonight.
going
So-
to the Whiskey after this.
That's right.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Check
I
it
mean, we
and
can't keep you.
set
You
up.
can't stay here all day with us, but you can follow us and interact with us on our website, www.a92a.life. Again, on Instagram, watch for this promotion all week, A92A_life, or check out our Facebook page, A92A. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you for
joining us.
having
It was
us.
so
Thank you.
fun.
You guys
Great.
were awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. You sure you don't want to come tonight?
We'll
We'll
I
take
might
care of you.
surprise you.
I
We will
think you
take
should
care of
totally
you.
go.
I might
You should
surprise
totally
you.
go.
Just so you know, Michael caters upstairs for the lucky ones that
Oh.
get to go
Oh,
upstairs.
wow.
He is quite the chef.
You're a
he-
chef? Oh, Michael, we got to talk. I watch Food Network 24/7. If you're a chef, you're my new favorite person.
These guys are being very, very nice.
The stuff that Michael does for the show is just beyond anything we could ask for. Like, he
Incredible.
brings food, he sets everything up, he takes care of all our VIPs.
Right.
He does so much for the show. It's like, we're forever grateful for this guy right here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love
And
it.
So awesome.
he's put so much work into making Mondays happen.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I'm pushing him to work us coast to coast
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's got that charisma. He can sell us. I know it.
Yeah, he does.
He's
We
the
already
man.
know that, and we just met him.
Yeah. So he's got a decent product to work with, and we'll see where the shuffling of the members has kind of been key
Yeah.
Mhm.
to get everybody with the same focus so that we can move forward. And I think we're there now.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
watch out. Here it
Awesome.
comes.
This has been great.
Watch
Thank
out.
you guys very much.
Thanks, guys. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Looking forward to
And
seeing you.
we'll be running this promotion again all week, so watch our socials for it. I can't wait to see you guys. If you're in LA, go see them at the Whisky every Monday night, and we will see you guys next week.
Okey-dokey.
Keep ratting those bangs and banging those heads. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.